Hey everyone. I'm just going to do a quick tutorial on compositing. So first of all, you're looking at our classroom now. Find the compositing assignment. And then I want you to go and download 4 images. So this is what we're going to learn to create. And these are the images that we're going to use to create them. So you right-click on the image and you save image as. Make sure that you keep your all of your files organized in a folder on your desktop. So I would right-click here, save image as. Same thing with this one and our last one here. So I've already saved all these images, so I can just go straight into Photoshop or Photopea, and I'm going to open up the files. Now, I'm going to go to File and Open, because those are pictures we've saved on our desktop. And I can just go ahead and select multiple images at the same time by holding the Command key on my keyboard and clicking on each separate files. And I've got one more, so I have 4 files opening right now. Okay, so if I take a look at the top here, I see 4 different tabs. So I've got 4 different files. Okay, so what I found worked really well is I'm going to be working on this picture because I like the shape of it. There's enough space for me to add different things here. And yeah, there's no other reason than that at this point. So first of all, I'm going to use my Move tool, click on my Stranger Things character file, bring this, drag it up to my Stranger Thing creature file until it opens. I'm still clicking on my mouse and I'm going to drag it down. I'm going to put it a little bit to the side because I want to make sure that I can resize this picture so they're a bit smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and hold Shift on my keyboard and click and drag to resize this image. So what holding Shift does is that it will actually make sure that I'm not changing the proportion of the characters. So I want them to look the same. If I don't hold Shift, I'm going to just be shrinking the image and make it look weird. Okay. So hold Shift and resize to where you're happy, what you're happy with. Okay. So the technique that we're going to use now is called layer mask in Photoshop or rasterize mask in Photopea. So to do that, we're going to apply a layer mask to our character layer. Might as well give it a name. Keep things organized. And then this is a mind flare. Okay, so I make sure this is the layer that's selected, and I will go and click on the rectangular icon with a circle in it, and that adds a layer mask. So now I can actually go and paint on the layer mask to make things disappear from that image. So if I paint onto the white, if I paint black, I will make things go away. If I paint white, then I will make things appear. So you can tell now the layer is all white and I can see the whole thing. But if I start painting in black, so I'm looking here, I click on the black and make sure black is selected. Just going to put it in the corner. Okay, and I grab my paintbrush. I'll make sure on my tool options here that I click on the size of the brush and make sure that hardness is at 0. The size of the brush, it depends on you. I'll make it bigger to start with because I'm going to just start erasing the biggest part of the image. And then as we go closer, I will change my size, my tool size. So I can go now and you can see I'm painting in black, And now you can see on my layer mask, there's a little spot here that's black. I'm going to keep going, erasing what I can without touching the characters. Just do like a rough job on all the edges. And it's revealing the background slowly. Now, I have to be careful. I don't want to get too close to them because I don't want to erase them. So now I'm going to go, this is the time to like do a bit more fine detail work. So I'm going to, oh, we have a visitor. Come on, Melvin. Come on. I'm doing a lesson here. There we go. Just like in class. Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. So remember your shortcut, Control on PC or Chromebook, Command on Mac, plus to zoom in. If you don't want to mess with shortcuts, use the zoom tool, which is right here. Now see how much bigger my tool is now that I'm zooming in? Like it's obvious that I can't start erasing here because if I do, then I'm going to erase, you know, part of the characters. So I'm going to go ahead and make my size, my tool smaller. That's an acceptable size to start with. I'm going to go and paint around and just make sure that I go not too close, just enough. Okay. And then as I get closer, I'll make my my mouse smaller and keep on painting black on my layer mask. Being careful that I'm not erasing the character. Okay. Oops, a little too much here. I'll switch to white. Just paint her hair back in. Switch back to black. Keep going. You can do some clicks. Okay. The beauty of this is this image here, I don't have to be super precise because the colors are quite similar. So as long as there's not like a really defined like line around the character, you're okay. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to try and do a bit more detail work right here. There we go. And I can go on the other side too if I want. And right here. Okay. And you're going to do that all around each character, using your hand tool to move. If you're using Photoshop, just use the scroll bar at the bottom. Yeah. So I will continue doing this here. I feel like now would be a good time to fast forward. But let's keep going. I'm going to do a rough job here. You take more time than I am, okay, please? Take your time, do it well. And I just keep on going until I'm happy with the results. Okay, a bit more here. I'm going to leave it there for now and just look here behind him. I'm going to make this a bit bigger now to save some time. Yeah, I've already done this. Great. So I just have a few more. I'll go here, take care of that bit, and then make my tool smaller. Do more. Okay. And like as I'm getting a bit closer, you can see because I'm feathering my tool, it impacts a little more. That's what's inside, what's defined inside my tool. So whenever I'm getting closer, I take more time, and you can like do a few clicks, you know, instead of like dragging. Sometimes if you're working with a mouse, it can get a bit easy to misstep a bit. So I'm going to go around here. The good thing about this image too is that there's a glow around their face, so you can cheat a bit. And see, now I'm going to have to fix that. I went too much. Okay, so let's say, so that, right, I'll just fix up here a bit. And I'm going to go and add a bit more. So I switch back to white. I'll be careful with her hair and her face. Okay, let me move a bit more. And I'll go and fix that up here. Go back to black, paintbrush. And about that. Okay. And I'll just go ahead and do this here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to zoom out now, Control minus, or you can use your zoom tool. And you'll see that it's not perfect. You know, I haven't done anything here. I'd probably bring this down quite a bit. I'm halfway done here. I'm not quite done here. So make sure that you look and you kind of keep this consistent throughout. But just for the sake of the length of this tutorial, I'm just going to go ahead and add the other layers. So the next thing I want to do is bring the gray smoke. So I'm clicking on my image here. I'm going to click on my move tool, drag this all the way here and down again. So now you can see I've got gray smoke, but I don't want to keep this shape. I want to spread it out a little bit, and I want it to hide the difference between the character and the background. So I'm using this a bit as a trick, but also to add some a mood to the image. I'm going to just stretch it without worrying about proportion because it is smoke, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to bring it down to where, just about here, let's say. And now I'm just thinking, it's too much. I want to tone this down a bit. So I'm going to select my background layer. I'm going to call this gray smoke. And excuse me, I'm going to go and lower the opacity down quite a bit. Well, I want to see it right about there. Okay, so now it looks a lot more natural as this scene can look. And so the next thing I want to do now is bring my red smoke to just kind of give it one extra layer. So I'm going to go here to my red smoke, again, click and drag with my move tool selected, bring it down, and I can kind of place it. Let me try and place it like that this time. Okay, and so now I want this to be between the characters and the mind flare. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to drag it down so it's where I want it to be. Great. So now I still have that like cool glow behind 11. I still have the smoke in front and I have the mind flare in the back. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lower the opacity of that layer as well. Because that's a bit much. Like, okay, so this is nothing. And then slowly we're bringing just a bit more of an extra touch. Okay, I'm happy with that. Awesome. You know what? There's one little bit that's bugging me, and I'm going to take care of it. Selecting this red smoke layer. I'm going to erase this bit here because it's not quite there and it's a bit there. I feel like there should be more or less. So I'm going to grab the eraser tool, make it bigger, and I'm going to go and erase that. That's too much. I'm going to undo this. I'm going to change my hardness to 0. And let's try again. There, just a bit. That looks more natural. Good. Okay, the last thing you do is add a title. So we're going to use the text title, the text tool here, and click, and then all of my options are here. So I'm going to use, for my font, I'm going to use the original one that I had used first, which is which one is it? This one here. It's called District. I'm going to use this. I'm going to make my font size quite a bit smaller, bigger, I mean. And I've already selected my color here. It's a dark red. And I'm going to just type Stranger Things. Space. Things. And then I will, that's already, I'm going to select that. Normally the default is left aligned text. I'm going to select center aligned text. I'll make it a bit bigger. I don't think it's big enough. Maybe. Good. And then I'm going to move it to the middle. Because what am I using here as a principle of design? It looks pretty symmetrical to me. Okay, awesome. Now I'm looking here and I'm seeing that my things is not really, like, it's hard to read it. So maybe it's worth picking a different color. Maybe I go for a darker red. Let's see what that looks like. Nope, it makes it worse. I could keep it to maybe like a gray. Let's see. I said it's not really in the tones of, so I'm going to keep it red. I think I prefer red. Maybe a brighter red. There we go. A little bit brighter. Awesome. And so that's your poster. Now there's other things you could do to make this bigger, to make this better, like changing the size of your S and R to make it look a lot more like the actual Stranger Thing logo, and add some lines here. But for today, we're going to stop here. And before you're done with your poster, I want you to make sure that you save often, okay? Go to File, Save as a PSD, which means that once you save a PSD, you'll have your all of your layers will remain in your file. So you can work on this today, you can save it as a PSD on your computer, come back to it later, and you know, another day or a few hours later, and it's still going to be there. So remember to save often, because this is a web application, and if your internet crashes, well, guess what? You're going to lose your work. So save it, have fun. Next time, try different images. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying this. Have a nice day.